Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Colin Connection. I'm your host Will, and this is a Magpies channel associated with Flag Pies on Facebook, and I'm joined by the Fossil as always down there in Patterson Lakes. How you going, Fossil?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Will. Yeah, always good after the boys put in a good showing. So tomorrow night's going to be a big game and a big tester, but hopefully the boys can put their best foot forward and we might be able to sneak 4 points here. But I think we're the underdogs, but you just never know, William. You just never know in this game.
Exactly, and of course we're previewing the Collingwood v Hawthorn game, 7:30 at the MCG. It's going to be a very tough ask for our Magpies. There's been a few changes to the side, a little bit more inexperienced this week, Fossil, but that's all right. Hopefully we can continue the momentum from that great Anzac Day win. So we'll start off with the opposition there, Fossil.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're playing Hawthorn last week. They absolutely smashed the Suns by 49. Probably them and Sydney are probably the form sides of the competition at the moment, but and plus the 5 day turnaround probably doesn't help us either. But I'm sure the boys will get out there and give their good account of themselves. Uh, for Hawthorn, they got Sisley, Barras, and Battle. They sit back in that back line in that hole there, William, and I think that's where Collingwood have got to match up their key power forwards to keep them all accountable so they just don't sit back and mark everything. So I think that's one thing that they've really got to concentrate on, and I think with our three tools in there, we can probably combat that a little bit. I think McGuinness, he'll probably have a first crack at Dacos. I think they'll probably try and tag him out of the game. And Gutson's in very good form too, William. So we need somebody there to make sure that, he seemed to have plenty of room the other week. He kicked 5 goals, four. So whoever plays on him, I think they've got to be shoulder to shoulder and just don't give him that room to move around. And also in the midfield, I think, they've got Amon, McDonald, Ambrosio, Impey, Newcomb, all these guys. So they've got a fairly strong midfield, but they use the ball well. I don't think they're really, really fast, Will, but they're a bit like our side. So I think, the rucks are going to be very important because if we can get first use and get it down quickly, hopefully the boys can kick a few goals. But no, it's going to be a tough game, William. But I think, all the guys will get out there and give it their best shot. And yeah, and hopefully we can might be able to sneak a little win. But it's going to be a tough effort. But I'm sure they'll give their best shot.
Yeah, exactly. In my personal opinion, the benchmark of the competition, and like you said, they've got some dangerous players. That Wizard Watson down forward, and Jack Gunston. I heard a little stat that he's averaging the most shots per game since Buddy Franklin back in his heyday. I think it was around 2012, 2013. So like Pendlebury last week, the older fellas seem to be performing pretty well. Zorko up in Brisbane, so you can't write off the old members yet. So we'll hopefully can limit his impact, and then like you said, get a win on the board. It'd be a nice win. We're pretty big underdogs at the moment, but you never know. If we play our best, we can hopefully get the job done. So. With the Magpies, after that win last week, we're eighth on the ladder with a 4-3 record. It keeps us within touching distance of the four, especially if we can get the job done tomorrow night. Yeah, like I said, backed it up against the Bombers after defeating the Blues the week prior, and 77 points. It's always nice to thump those Bombers, and Pendlebury is playing like he's back in his prime 2011. Unfortunately, we're not going to have him this week, as most people would know by now, but it's going to be a stern test against arguably the best team in it. We do regain Darcy Moore, the captain, so that's going to boost our defense along with Parker. Your boys back in there with Long, who was obviously rested last week for Anzac Day, and Jack Buller. We did speak about him in our review episode. He's been playing very well, 7 goals in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, he's put in a great effort and really does earn his crack at it. Obviously, Charlie West is close too, so it's good competition for both of them. Yeah, but we will be without the likes of Pendlebury, Howe, McCreary is also rested. That's an interesting one, but he put up a bit sore. And also your boy Timmy Membry wasn't in the best of form, Fossil. We've tried not to be too critical, but he just hasn't quite, last week 137 points and he couldn't hit the scoreboard. So obviously we don't wish anything. We wish him the best with this injury, and he's got a hamstring injury, so 4 weeks on the sidelines at least. So hopefully he can come back and be better for it. But 1,000 games of experience lost, so not going to be easy to cover Fossil. But fingers crossed the boys can, yeah, like I said, give it a red hot crack. And I think it's going to start in the middle. But your key matchup for this week.
Yeah, my kids there, they bought Parker in with him, and I think they brought him in because of that little Watson. He's only 170 centimetres and he moves fairly quickly. So I think they'll give Parker a first crack at him because he's played a couple of times with him and he's shut out some good players. So I think they'll bring him in into the side, and I think he'll go straight to Watson. So that's going to be one of the I like to see how he goes. And if he can keep Watson quiet, that'll help us a fair bit going towards a win.
Oh, he's a pretty special player, that Watson. The Hawks were they were licking their lips when they got him in the draft, and you can see why. He's very dangerous. He's very quick. So yeah, he'll have his hands full, Parker. But like you said, he's shut down some pretty dangerous small forwards in the league. So hopefully that continues this week. And I'm going to focus on those ruck matchups along with those center contests from the middle of the ground. So. Cameron and Steen, they had a week out last week. Steen, he keeps growing in confidence, and it's great to see our unicorn, I'll call him, he's blossoming into something special. But that, to be fair, they didn't have great competition in Blackiston and Peter Wright. No offense to them, but they're just not really pure ruckmen. And yeah, going up against Cameron and Steen was always going to be tough. So. That gave our boys first crack at the footy, which I think Dacos is really relishing. Steen's just doing awesome, teaming up with all of them, and Cameron's putting in his effort too. So yeah, the midfielders are really benefiting from it. But I think Reeves and Lloyd Meek from the Hawks are going to be really hard to combat because Reeves with his height, he's almost as tall as Mason Cox, so Steen's going to have to be on his game. He gives away about 8 centimeters there, and same with Cameron as well, about the same. And Lloyd Meek's not small either. He's pretty solid. So the boys are going to have their work cut out for them, and I think that's going to really decide this midfield battle, which like all weeks, but it's going to go a long way for us winning the game. The past 5 quarters we've played, we've really seen the midfield start to gel and get on top. So that fourth quarter against Carlton into last week. Last week we could have won by 100 points. They were just absolutely dominant. We just couldn't put it on the scoreboard at times. So if they play like that, Fossil, I think will be a chance. But all starts in the middle, and hopefully those boys can hold their own, and then that'll give us first supply, and hopefully we can catch those Hawks off guard. So we'll get to our predictions for this week, Foss.
Yeah, well, I'm taking the Pies in an upset will. They're going to win by 7 points. I
Hope
think,
you're right.
when they get, yeah, well, like you said, when they've got control of the ball, they've got to put the score on the board, especially against these good sides. Like you said, we should have smashed the Bombers by over 100 if they'd have been fair dinkum. So, when we've got the play and we've got possession of the ball, we just got to use it smartly, and hopefully that the forwards can convert and like scoreboard pressure, puts a bit of pressure on the opposition, and they could make all the difference. So while they've got control of the game, they've got to make the most of their opportunities, and I think that's going to be play a big part in who wins the game. But I think the Pies, if they can start off well, move the ball down there quickly, give themselves plenty of opportunities, I think there's still a chance, even though Hawthorn are a very good football team.
Like it, Fossil. We've been doing this is round 8, so we usually do most disposals and the most goals for Collingwood. So we'll have to. What's your predictions for those?
The most disposals this
Yeah.
week will be Josh Stakos. Most goals will be Elliott. He's going to kick 4 with him. He's going to have a big night tomorrow night. And what was the other one, Will?
Oh well, how many disposals is Josh Dacos going to have, Foss?
He's going to have 27, William. 27.
All right,
He's going to
good.
absolutely have he's going to have an absolute blinder.
Good to know you're on the ball, Fossil. I'll jump in there with the most disposals. So I think Houston with 28. The ball's going to be coming down there, fairly, hopefully not too often, but I think he's really starting to gel with the team. And you saw last week his kicking's elite, as we've always known, but he's been a lot better this year, and he's starting to move up the ground and get a bit more, take those risks, but he can pull off those kicks. And we saw a few absolute bullets flying to the forward line last week. So I think he's really starting to gel. So 28 with Houston. I was going to take McCreary for our goals with 2, but I'm going to change that to Schultz with him being an out. And I think it's going to have to be a spread of goal kickers against the Hawks. They are very good defensively, as you've said, and it's going to be hard work for the likes of McStay, Buller, and either Ruckman going down there because they're just very good, spoiling everything, but also marking as well. So yeah, they're going to have to be on their game to limit their defense, and also I'll be happy if we can get within 3 goals. I'll be honest, the Hawks are absolutely flying. They got two big ins this week in Sicily and I think more was it, but they're going to be they're absolutely flying. They're going to be hard to beat. So I'm going to say the Pies by a point and just be very hopeful fossils they can get the job done. So I'll be happy with the 4 points nonetheless.
It'd be lovely. But yeah, I think, like you said, with those three guys down the back, well, if Steen goes down there and then you got Buller and McStay, they could virtually play man to man and make them accountable, or else they're just going to sit in the hole like they do all the time. And I think that's going to be one of the big keys, if McStay and Steen can sort of stay closer to the goal and put a lot more pressure on them, whereas they've got to punch the ball instead of marking the ball, and it might keep it in our 50 a little bit longer because they've got three talls and three quicks, and I think that's the way we've got to go too. We'll have the three talls down there, putting pressure on those three, and that might make a big difference how the game pans out.
Well, it's also going to be interesting to see how that three tall. So let's say we've got Buller, McStay, and Steen. Very interesting how that works in the dynamics of They don't like to be too tall under McRae, but it's going to be really interesting the dynamics of that forward line. I think if Membry wasn't injured, he probably was going to be dropped, or Buller might have taken his spot. He wasn't in the best of form, in my opinion. So anyway, we'll see how that all pans out. And the game day competition, guys, it's up to $50 now. So we're slowly trajecting upwards. It's Flag Pies on Facebook, so you'll find our page called Flag Pies, and we have links there to the YouTube channel and vice versa in our YouTube channel. So give us a like and a follow. And same with the channel, if you can subscribe and share and tell your friends, it gets more people involved. And we'd love to hear your feedback and messages each week. So thank you for that, guys, and best of luck. Hopefully, someone can crack the $50 this week. Fossil, they need the goals between 3 players and the disposals between two of them. We will, on Facebook later tonight, and you'll find it on there tomorrow. We will post those as well. So get your predictions in, and best of luck to everybody. And I just want to touch on lastly, Fossil, the GOAT debate. Last week you said Nick Dacos was #1 all time for Collingwood. Is Scott Pendlebury now, the young fella? Is he taken over that position now?
He's number one. He was number one with you, but I think Pendles has taken over, mate. After that performance last week, how could you not go past me? He's just unbelievable. And they're really going to miss him tomorrow night too, or, directing the play and everything. But I can see where they're coming from off a 5-day break, and we've got a couple of. I think we've got Geelong and the Swans. Is that right? The next couple of weeks, so it's not getting any easier. And I suppose McRae and Jarrah Waite and them, they know what they're doing, how to manage the players. So I think they've made the right call. But yeah, it's a shame that we lost him and Howell and Macquarie. But hopefully the others can step up, and young Anderson and Hayes and these blokes, can have another good game. Steele, they're improving each week. So that's what we've got to do. Well, we can't stay with the same side all the time. So hopefully they acquit themselves well, and we have a really good game.
Exactly. And well, fingers crossed, as you said. But with the Pendlebury debate, I think between Pendlebury and the coaches, they know best, and we don't get a 43 disposal game and 2 goals if they hadn't have got his body right beforehand. So they just got to trust the system and trust that they know what they're doing to get his body right. And I'm sure Pendlebury, he will crack that game's record against West Coast in 4 weeks' time, and so be it. And then after that, they'll still be resting him off short breaks and interstate trips to make sure his body's right, because that's how you get these performances out of him. So let's just, take a breath. And I know you don't listen to idiots like Kane Corns in the media. That's just clickbait stuff. He's just looking for a story where everyone was in awe of what Pendlebury did. The idiot just tries to make a story headline there. So we ignore people like that, and then just, yeah, he's just an absolute champion, and we should just focus on him for the latter part of his career. And to finish off, Fossil, I'm not gonna make you rank players this week because that was a bit of a disaster last week, let's be honest. But I've just got some quick fire questions for you. So the first one, just pick one or the other. Very, very easily. And in their heyday, Anthony Rocker or Travis Cloak?
Travis Cloke.
Fair enough. The marking machine. I loved Anthony Rocker though. He could kick the ball 80 meters. He was
Oh, yeah, he kick him an absolute mile. Well, I'll
same
tell
with
you
his
now,
same with his brother. To be fair, the Rocker brothers, there was something special about those
they
two.
want to get
So
it down there and teach a few of ours how to kick clear, but they're both very good players. But I think Travis Cloke was very strong mark, and he was a good player.
Travis
They're both
Travis
good players.
Travis Cloke was a different player, 30 meters or closer. I was more confident when he was further away, funny enough.
Yeah,
So,
when he was 30 out, will you shut your eyes? When he was 50 out, you'd
uh,
say no worries.
15, I
Yeah,
swear, I was a game against Fremantle years ago. He was 15 meters out and he still managed to miss. I was like, oh God,
yeah, yeah.
you could
No,
love him or hate him. No, you never hated him. He was a great player for us and
yeah, yeah,
helped us
no.
win a flag. So all those players are heroes in my eyes. All right, next one. What would you rank the review system, the bunker, out of 10, Fossil?
Zero. And when I was
Big
blow that
surprise.
bloody thing up, William, it is absolutely worth jack shit. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they waste too much time, William. They've got to, like the poor old umpires get blamed all the time, but these rules and that bunker system, mate, it should be made in 10 seconds. If it's not made, William, or don't call it,
move on.
it's just wasting too much time.
Yep,
And you bring the supporters get frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated, and a lot of them are dodgy decisions. Like years ago, the umpire just made a decision and you wore it. But if it's a tight one, but they're just spending too much time. They've got to get it. I don't know what they're going to do, Will, but they've got to get it done. If they're going to keep going there, it's got to be made very quickly, or else everybody's just getting frustrated. And at the moment, it's not working at all. It's Shizenhausen.
yeah, no, I think you're right, and a lot of frustrations, a lot of money's been put into it, so that's fair enough. Fans are a bit upset. So anyway, hopefully they can fix that. And the last one, Collingwood aside, I know you wear the heart on your sleeve, Fossil, but Collingwood aside, who are your grand final teams for 2026?
Brisbane and Swans.
Oh, fair enough. The 20 what was that 2024 replay, Fossil, where Brisbane, I do fear like as good as Sydney are, and I think between Brisbane, Sydney, Hawthorn for me would be along with Brisbane this year. But whoever makes the grand final, if Brisbane's on the other side, they're always going to be a tad nervous, and they obviously know what they're doing. But for me, Hawthorn and Brisbane. But yeah, it's a pretty it's always open. The Bulldogs made an early run, and I think they've been shot down by injuries. So. Anyway, all
Yeah.
right. Fossil is Brisbane and Sydney. I'm with Hawthorn and Brisbane. So we'll wait there. Hopefully the Magpies, Fossil. Maybe we can find some magic in
We might be able to sneak in there, Will. Yeah, and I
you
think
never know.
with those interstaters, it depends where they finish on the ladder too. If they get to home finals, it's a big advantage. But yeah, like Hawthorn, they're playing well, and you just never know. Like Freo, we don't see a lot of them, and they'll get a few home games. So but I think yeah, those three: Brisbane, Sydney, and Hawks.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. Hopefully the Magpies, Fossil. Until then, go Pies, guys. Let's knuckle down and hopefully we can get a nice upset tomorrow night.
There you go, Pies. Big win tomorrow night, Will.
All right, guys. Till next time. See ya.
See ya.